There, welcome back to Property Today on the agenda. George Tolley here with you until 1, also joined in the studio by Mohammed Al-Wadir, who is, of course, the famous wolf of real estate. He's here to offer his advice and insights. Hello.
Yes, I'm still here. Good
still
morning.
Here. No chance of you leaving. Plus, we also have been joined by another guest, which we always do around about this time of the day. And I'm delighted to welcome Walid Shehabi into the studio. Now, he's the co-founder and chief strategy officer of Keeper. Thank you for joining us, sir. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
It's a pleasure. Now, we have been talking constantly on this program about investing in property. So maybe not a property that you're going to live in, but maybe one that you want to rent out. Mahan has given us lots of advice on the best way to do that, and the fact that you can really get very good returns that will basically cover your mortgage and your expenses. Correct. However, what if you've got a whole bunch of properties in your portfolio, and then you need to figure out how to manage it? Well, that is something that Walid Shehabi's company can help with. Keeper, the app, enables landlords to make quicker decisions and enhance their returns. Or so they say. But how does it work? Walid, tell me a little bit more about how the app works and what's it for.
Gladly. Yeah, absolutely. That's the intention, and that's our audience. Our audience typically we're a B2C company. Our audience are consumers, but they're investors in real estate for capital gains, for financial returns, for retirement, for multiple reasons. It's the largest investable asset class in the world, and we feel that that audience isn't addressed enough in terms of tools, capabilities, data, information, sort of assistance in decision making, not just on what to buy, but how to manage it, how to maximize returns, and how to make decisions related to utilization of that portfolio, or just simply know what that portfolio is worth and what returns they've been able to generate from it.
And have you seen a big growth in demand recently for those services as more people are investing in the UAE?
Property in Dubai is a very hot topic these days, absolutely. And naturally, you're correlated to how popular the asset class is at the time. But we're not building the product for the good days. We're building the product for throughout the market cycle to help you make decisions both when you're doing phenomenally well or when the market softens also and you need to make decisions to preserve cash or to pay down debt that's increased in cost, for example. So we do take the advantage of the fact that it's a very hot topic and putting the app in the hands of a lot of people who are interested and who are transacting, but we hope to drive value over the long term.
Walid, thank you very much for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
We had a very interesting chat before coming on air, and I learned a lot from you, so thank you for that. I have a question for you. How are you different from the typical, the old property management software that are there in the market?
Well, number one, we take responsibility for property management. So there's property management in the background. There's an operational staff and there's relationship managers that deal with all the stakeholders in a typical property investment ecosystem. So we have our hands on the quality of the service being delivered, but also the data being shared and the costs being shared and the recommendations being made on the platform itself. The app is a front interface. We found that mobile phones are the easiest way to deliver information, to communicate, and so on. So we just basically consolidated that whole process into one front. But for us, very importantly, we're data-driven. We don't want to recommend taking certain decisions and certain steps based on hearsay or based on very flimsy backing. We like to use data as the backing of the...
So tell us more about how you handle data, because there are a lot of also data providers or so-called companies now. And thanks to Dubai Land Department, we were talking about that, they've actually offered a very transparent platform in terms of offering the raw data to the market. So how do you actually package this data to the benefit of the investors?
Brilliant. I mean, to start with, my personal background is I'm a data geek. I'm a nerd when it comes to data. You put
love
me
a geek, love a nerd.
in front of Excel sheets and data visualization tools, and I'm a kid in a candy store. But the idea over there is raw data is exactly that, and you can interpret it whatever way that you choose. You can manipulate raw data in ways that give you the wrong sort of the wrong advice or the wrong picture. What we've tried to do is manipulate that data, or not manipulate, but process that data in a way that we believe supports investment making decisions and supports our customer base. So, for example, we came out with an automated valuation model for our customers that gives you a daily view of what your property portfolio is
and how
worth.
is that different from the standard valuation reports that an investor would get from the market?
Well, number one is the algorithm that we use in order to get that, and the augmentations that we use as we get to know the property better and better over time. We can augment and adjust that valuation over time.
Perfect.
And number two is that it's based on live feeds. So there's live information feeding that valuation on a regular basis. We're very lucky in Dubai for two reasons for that purpose in particular. Number one, the open data initiative that is done by the Land Department enables this approach, but also on the other hand that we do have a lot of commoditized real estate in Dubai. We have very big buildings that you have an identical unit to the one you own times
Correct.
50 or times 100. So it helps a lot in assessing value and giving you that information very early on and effectively live.
Okay, this is a great tool. By the way, I'm sold. I love what you described. But this
We'll
is a
speak
great
on the
tool.
side.
Yeah, this is a great tool for investors. But when any investor listens to this, the first thing that will come to their mind, how much? And is it going to really help me optimize the performance of my portfolio? Is it going to be a big expense, or is it going to be an added value as an investment? So what would you tell investors who are listening to you right now?
One word, it's free.
Wow. So how does it work? When you say it's free, just tell us how
absolutely.
it works.
Of course, the initial process is free. We believe transparency is good for all. Plus, as a business builder, we need feedback from as many people as possible. We need engagement from as many investors as possible. The basic platform is free. Access to live valuations is free. Access to basic information about payments and expenses and service fees and net returns and so on is free, and it's only monetized when it gets converted to a specific property management contract where we have a very transparent fee that applies over there, or when there is transactional requirements which we enable through the app itself. So only when you make money or you actually utilize the platform is when we get paid. Beyond that, you download, you upload your properties, and you're up and running.
Fascinating stuff. A very good note to end on, I think. The knowledge that you don't have to pay until you actually start using it. Waleed Shehabi, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. Co-founder and Chief Strategy Officer of Keeper. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Waleed.
Right, it is time for our news headlines, running ever so slightly late for them. But remember that coming up in the next few minutes, it will be your chance to ask Mohanad any question you like. He is Mohanad Al-Wadia. He is the famous wolf of real estate, and there's nothing he doesn't know. Is that right? Is that double negative? There's nothing he doesn't know about property.
I'm still learning about that.
Okay, from a layman's perspective, he literally knows everything you could ever want to know about property. He's still studying his PhD. That to give you a sense of the level that he's operating at. News is next, but keep your questions coming 4001, or you can WhatsApp 0487155500.
Your ARN News
with Etihad